Hey y'all, Bo here. Do you have a friend that just really annoys you? One that just really gets on your nerves all the time, but you can't really do anything about it since they always have max gear, totems, and are just a PvP god, so they're pretty much untouchable. But worry not, because I have a weapon for you. Here's a little demonstration clip. If you are okay with dying, go on down,
What
and
is it exactly down
I
there?
can't quite
Bo,
say,
do you mind
but
doing
the
me a
first person
favor
to
and
go through gets 5 diamond blocks.
okay.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh my god. Did they get the 5 diamond blocks?
No, he didn't get the 5 diamond blocks. I got them because I was the second person to get them. Yep, that's an arrow cannon.
Oh.
I knew it! Get him at spawn, for Christ's sake! I just spent all that time walking over there.
This little contraption took me a little over 8 months to build, but this bad boy can instantly delete a player wearing full protection for netherite, even while holding 2 totems. Even shields don't work against this thing. It instantly breaks those too. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could one-tap a warden with this. It is that powerful. However, before we get to build such a magnificent machine, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit, you'll need to understand how, and more importantly, why this machine works the way it does. Let's get started in my creative test world, and the core of the machine, the propellant and the compressor. Our cannon uses stasis wind charges as our propellant, consuming 4 stacks of them per shot to guarantee a kill. It is very expensive, however, it is much cheaper than TNT or spending hours transporting a breeze to make a breeze compressor at wherever your cannon is located at. Plus, breeze compressors are just a bit, yeah, they're slow. Renewable, and if you stack enough of them together, great for other applications, but not for this. We need it quick, concealable, and compact. So I made my own compressor by mashing together a variable tick repeater clock, a piston, a cobweb, and a dispenser. I got this. Simple, quick, easy to make, and most importantly, very, very compact. This little stasis chamber that we have here works by dispensing a wind charge into the cobweb, which will slow it down enough so that way our piston here can then catch it, push it up, and from there can be moved by other pistons into our staging chamber for firing. 2 of these will make up the very core of our cannon. And here's a look at what your compressor might look like once you've actually built it out. I'm going to show you how to build this fully later, but it's fairly simple. You have your clock right here. You've got your 3 ticks of delay between dispensing and catching, which is very important, mind you, very important. Otherwise, it'll just fly off into the distance and explode, and it'll just be a waste. And from here, piston catches it, moves it up, piston moves it into the staging chamber, and you're done. It's very, very simple, very, very nice. It does have a little issue, but I'll get to that later. Now for the annoying part, ammunition. You see, only player arrows will work for this cannon. You can't use dispensed arrows, you can't use skeleton arrows, you can't use pillager arrows, you cannot use anything other than player arrows. Why? Because a single line of code exists only for player arrows that allows them to do accelerated damage. It is annoying. So that means every time you want to do a single shot, and I mean every single time, it needs to be manually loaded into the cannon. That means crafting a bow, enchanting it, stealing an arrow from the skeleton, and... Good news though, this issue is on the bug tracker, and with enough votes, could possibly be fixed. Please do take some of your time and go vote for it. It would make me very, very happy and allow me to make this weapon even deadlier in the future. Right now though, we have a problem. This won't fire. It won't work at all. How do we fix this? Well, it's super complicated. It took me 6 of the 8 months I spent designing this cannon to figure out. What we need to do is... I figured that out by accident. 6 months of the 8 it took me to build this cannon. To do this by accident. I felt physical pain when it worked. I also felt physical pain when it stopped working in the Copper Age update. That's why you've been seeing a daylight detector in some of these clips. They were recorded before the update hit. Thankfully, it was an easy fix, and now the cannon works again. Hooray and all. Yippee. And right here, we've pretty much got our completed cannon. I'll be showing you how to make an actual better one. This is mostly just a demo design, but as you can see, it did work. However, we aren't quite done yet. The cannon in its current state is rather obvious. It's pretty easy to see, and it can be defeated by someone just... So that means we have to conceal it. That also means piston doors. This will vary environment to environment, mainly depending on you to blend it in properly. If you want an idea of how I did it in the intro clip, what I did, since this piston retracting is what fires the cannon, I just put a little time delay on the first area opening up, so that way we can actually have the arrows go through, and then firing the piston half a tick or a tick, well, not half a tick or 2 ticks later. Now for the issues this cannon has, because it has quite a few. First issue, player arrows like to despawn when they're left in unloaded chunks. This can be alleviated by constantly moving them with a piston or with a water column. I prefer to use water columns since pistons are rather loud and can give away the cannon's position. I even have a little stasis design to make it easy for loading. It's neat, and I'll show you how to build it in the build section. Second, loading the cannon. This cannon can instantly break shields and pop double totems if loaded correctly. You will need to load in staggered lines with some variation. If you load them in a perfectly aligned wall of arrows, it will break the shield or pop the double totem, but it will not kill the player. Remember this and plan for this. Third, the cannon will sometimes misfire. This is because of the player view direction. Because we're using player arrows, specifically your player arrows, the direction you're looking at can redirect the wind charges and influence how the cannon fires. This usually isn't an issue, but do be aware of it because it can cause problems. Fourth, loading, specifically the dispensers. Whenever you dispense a wind charge, everyone on your realm or server can hear it. If you want to have a truly hidden cannon, charge it when no one is online or use the slow breeze design. Now, fifth, and I'm really just sort of tossing this in here at the end, you don't need to keep most of the compressor design for the cannon after you have already built everything. You can just tear it all down and recycle the materials, so that way if somebody you use the cannon on decides to come back and grief it, they will only find the activation circuit and your stasis chamber. Not very much to lose. Anyways, let's get to the build now. And here's what you're going to need for the stasis chamber for your arrows on this cannon. You can pause right here and take a quick look at what you'll need, and I'll get started with the build. Alright, so first things first, we're going to want to get on top of our cannon. I cannot plan, so this is just a mock-up for right now. From here, first thing we do is take a torch and our soul sand, place it right here. I mostly just use the torch because it is easy to break. From here, we're going to be placing out one permanent block and one temporary block. Take our sticky piston, place it off of that temporary block right there, break our temporary block, place a redstone torch in its place, place a button on our permanent block, and look what we got. From here, we take our observer, place it up on top of the sticky piston, and what we'll do next is place our dispenser right off of here. From here, on top of the observer, place a redstone dust and a block. This will allow us to power the piston. From here, it'll allow us to power our dispenser off of the observer whenever the piston retracts. So that way the water is also taken with it. From here, place one temporary block, 3 permanent blocks around it, break it, place the water right in there, place the empty bucket in here, press your button, poof, you have your stasis chamber that will now retract and allow you to easily... Oh yeah, I forgot, one more piece of redstone. That way it doesn't have water falling down. From here, place one block, place another block, place another block, place your trapdoor on the bottom end of this block, place your button. From here, you now have your stasis chamber. Let's take a look at it, and you can see how it works. From right here, you'll load in your arrows in little lines. You can then use your button here to drop them into your water column, and when you're ready to fire, You allow your arrows to fall through the water column, and poof. And here's what you'll need to build your cannon: about a stack of temporary blocks, although you can use about 16. I prefer to have a stack because it makes everything easier, and you can just take a quick look at what else you'll need, get it ready for the build, and let's get started. So the footprint of our cannon is going to be 11 by 11 by 7 blocks tall. I'm mainly doing that so that way we have enough space to move around the cannon whenever we're building it. The actual cannon is much, much smaller than that. Now let's get started with the build. The first thing we're going to want to do is identify where our target zone is at, where the players are going to be standing whenever we're going to be killing them. And we're going to want to go over, and this is going to be our firing block. Our firing block is going to be basically a 1 block up from wherever our target area is at, because the arrows are going to be going right across the top edge of this block, hitting the player right in the midsection. So we're going to be having it right here. Once we've identified our firing block, I've just put some little staircase blocks up here, so that way it's easier to just get to and around the build. From here, we're going to want to place our sticky piston in here, so that way we can be able to push up and reach this. From here, place in a little torch setup like this, so that way we can activate the piston and have it fall down to be able to fire everything. From here, we're going to want to move up to the actual cannon area and build 2 blocks off to the side from each thing. Build up 2, build in 1, then place little blocks around like this. And we're going to want to place some temporary blocks now. Here, here, here. I'm going to place a little bit extra temporary blocks on each side, so that way I can more easily just place stuff in. And we can remove these temporary blocks now. I say that and I immediately remember we're going to need these temporary blocks still. So from here, just place a permanent block off the side, place a redstone on top of that, and repeat that on the exact other side, like this. Once you've placed the redstone in, go back up to the top side here, place your piston in here with a temporary block, and you should be pretty much good with this area. Keep that temporary block in there for right now. Take your cobwebs, place them on the bottom side of that right there, and then we're going to be moving down to place in the other pistons. From here, we're going to take a temporary block, place our pistons on top of that, if I can actually be able to position that properly, which I apparently can't because I am dumb. There we go, a perfectly positioned piston. Remove the temporary block, add some extra temporary blocks, move it on over, except I placed it up too high. Place it in like there, and you are good to remove your temporary blocks now. Onto the dispensers, place another temporary block right there. Place your dispensers off of that temporary block, and you can remove it. I believe you can also remove this block now. I can't remember because I don't have the entire schematic or actual build in front of me, but it's right over there. So I can always just reference it. From here, we're going to take a little bit blocks down the side here, place in our torches, move down here, place in the torches again, and now from here, what we're going to do is place a block on the underside of each of these pistons, place 2 more blocks off the sides. Each one is going to have a redstone. Take 2 more blocks, take your pistons now, not pistons, repeaters now. These are going to be on 2 ticks each. From here, we're going to want to go out and up. Place 2 blocks on the underside of these dispensers. Place in your redstone torches here and here. And now from here, we're going to want to place a block in. Place a redstone on top of that. And now we're making our little clock. So place a block off of that. Place your redstone torch right here. Placing your lever to be able to control your clock. Pop up to the top side. Place a block up here, repeater. Actually, return that repeater around because I forgot to go the other way with it. And turn it on. You should now have a fully functional compressor. Off now, and hey, you're almost done. I forgot to place a block in up here because I thought we were still doing stuff, but now we're going to place a block on top of our piston. Take it out from here because this is just going to be our little activation line. It doesn't really matter too much how you build it, simply that you make sure it does not interact with any build components. And from here, just use our glass to make sure we don't touch any redstone, and create a little pathway down to here at the bottom, which will be our actual activation line. Just build it up a little bit, and I remember now that I do not have Silk Touch on this pickaxe. Give me a moment. And now by magic, I have a Silk Touch pickaxe. We will take that, move stuff up here, then we can... I actually should probably turn this around to make sure it doesn't interact with anything, but here we go. Redstone, 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 and we effectively have our cannon. Give it a quick test fire, just place a button anywhere, and make sure that the top piston moves first. That will be pushing our charges in, and then you can fire a little bit later, which is what the 2 ticks on that repeater are for. And we are pretty much done. From here, you can just load up your ammunition into your dispensers, dispense everything. I somehow have 3 extra redstone dust I don't know what to do with. Now for loading in our arrows, what we're going to want to do is have some arrows across here and put those in. These are going to be our activation arrows. Make sure to take an arrow back. These arrows will be on the side of the cannon that the wind charges are coming from, because this area is going to be where the compressor is at. These are going to be just activating it when it falls down, so that way you can get arrows to shoot out. From here, we're going to place some arrows over on this side as well, and send those in. Collect, and make sure to put in a second row or a third row of arrows. This is entirely up to you, but will guarantee a kill if your opponent or player you're just wanting to use this against has totems, a shield, or they just generally are very, very powerful. This will guarantee that it'll break their shield, double kill their totems and all. So yeah, make sure to do this. And here I'm going to demonstrate it in action. You can see the arrows up there. Press the button, they fall down, and they are ripe for shooting now, right on top of our firing block. Now I've filled everything up with a test load of wind charges. Something I should mention, that once you are done loading in your wind charges, you can take away all the rest of this, because once you fire it, and assuming you're on a server that allows that type of stuff for PvP and whatnot, you're going to probably get this portion of your cannon griefed. So that's why this compressor can be just taken away. You can just get rid of it after you're done, if you're going to be just doing a single shot, because this will stay still forever. You don't need to load more in or anything like that. Pretty much the only portion you got to keep is this firing line right here that goes up to that piston right there and this sticky piston right here. I'm going to quickly load it up and show you a single shot. Alright, we've got our single shot loaded up. We've got everything else ready. I'm going to press the button now, and as you can see, arrows go, arrows kill people. Yippee! I hope you have enjoyed this video, despite how scuffed it's been. If you want to see more redstone, even if it's a little bit impractical, like a happy gas transportation system, please do like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you want to see me build next, and bye!